Let's begin with updates from the local government polls in Rivers State, where the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has commenced the swearing-in of the newly elected chairman of the 23 local government councils in the state. The swearing-in started at 4:20 p.m. on Sunday, and this followed the successful presentation of certificates of return to democratically elected chairmen in the local government elections held across the state on Saturday, October 5, 2024. The swearing-in was witnessed by the governor of Bauchi State and chairman, People's Democratic Party's Governors Forum, Senator Bala Mohammed, and distinguished stakeholders and political leaders of the state.
About 3 days ago, what we faced is only when God is on your side that you can survive that kind of situation. So we return all the glory to God Almighty. I'm so glad that the chairman of the Governors Forum of PDP is here with us to witness this ceremony. I want to assure you that I still remain a member of PDP. But the truth remains, desperate situation requires desperate measures. We were confronted with a situation where the local government of this state was heading to doom. And the truth about it is, because of the genuine love that we have for this state, we must salvage the local government council. And what we did with the support of the Rivers people was to salvage the local government council. Work for the betterment of your local government. Ensure that you be, I use the word servant. Open your doors. Embrace everyone. And I assure you that nothing is bigger and greater than that. That is the structure. I want to charge you to be peace-loving. I'm aware that they are mobilizing 20 people per unit to go and confront you tomorrow when you resume in your local government headquarters. But please, if they're coming with violence, avoid them. The peace of this state.
In the meantime, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission has issued certificates of return to newly elected local government chairmen. After an exercise held amid heightened tension on Saturday, the Action People's Party won 22 out of 23 chairmanship positions, while the Action Alliance candidates won 1 seat. The chairman of the commission, Adolphus Enebeli, issued certificates to the chairman of the RISIEC headquarters in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Meanwhile, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has commended Governor Siminalayi Fubara's creativity in solving what could have been a constitutional crisis in the administration of local government in Rivers State. Governor Mohammed stated this after observing the swearing-in ceremony of 23 local government chairmen elected yesterday. The Bauchi State Governor, who is the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, said though the party did not win, it was important that the Governor Fubara, who is the deputy chairman of the forum, took such bold decision. The Rivers State local government election has been won and lost, but reactions continue to trail the exercise. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu, spoke to a cross-section of respondents in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Brings us details. Okay, we'll try to bring you that in the course of the news bulletin. Let us also tell you that former President Goodluck Jonathan has issued a cautionary call to political actors, security agencies, and the judiciary, urging them to avoid actions that could worsen the political tension currently brewing in Rivers State. The tension stems from the local government election recently held in the state, which has sparked a political crisis. In a statement posted on his Twitter account on Saturday, Jonathan voiced deep concern over the unfolding situation, stressing the importance of peace and stability of Nigeria's democracy. The former president appealed to all stakeholders, especially state institutions, to ensure that democratic principles are upheld by conducting peaceful and credible elections. He also advised political players to exercise caution and patriotism in their quest for power, noting that the crisis in Rivers State bears a striking resemblance to the political unrest that shook Nigeria's old western region in the past. And to discuss this, we're joined by legal practitioner Valerie Nwadike. Good evening. Glad to have you join me on the news. Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. Let me kick off by asking what mechanisms are in place within the Nigerian judicial system to prevent conflicting judgment from being issued by different courts on the same matter.
I want to start by stating clearly that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, Chapter 1, Part 1, Section 1, Subsection 3, stated clearly that the Constitution is supreme and that its provisions are binding on every authority and persons throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And if any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution, that law, to the extent of its inconsistency, remains null and void. So why am I saying this? Federal High Courts and State High Courts are courts of coordinate jurisdiction, meaning they have the same power. So if State High Court issues an order, you don't need to go to Federal High Court to bring a contradictory order. You just have to go to Court of Appeal to appeal the order you got that was gotten from State High Court. So when anybody goes to Federal High Court to counter an order that is coming from State High Court, it amounts to judicial rascality. And this is also the words of the NBA president, Maza Famosigo SAN, who in his message to lawyers yesterday clearly stated that he is so ashamed of whatever that is going on. People should not be ridiculing the judiciary. And I feel the Justice of Supreme Court, who is the head of NJC, might have to, do something about these conflicting judgments or these acts of judicial rascality.
Now, what do you think, or in what ways can conflicting judgments during political crisis, such as the one we have in Rivers State, affect stability and also credibility of democratic institutions in Nigeria?
Obviously, when there is conflicting judgment, it creates crisis because people want to, enforce whichever judgment they feel favors them. And that is not what we need in our fragile democracy. So the easiest way to solve this issue is the persons or the agencies that takes judicial activity need to sit up to their responsibility to ensure such conflicting judgments are discouraged.
Okay, now, you talked about the NJC intervening in this conflict of court judgments we have between the State High Court or the Federal High Court. But looking ahead, what way indeed can they ensure that there is uniformity and also, stern measures put in place by them to ensure, there is that uniformity within the judiciary system?
Yeah, everything still boils down to us legal practitioners. We should do our due diligence before heading to court to get an order or a ruling. Because we are all stakeholders in the judiciary, and when judiciary is being ridiculed, the entire judiciary, when it is being ridiculed, people lose faith in judiciary, and it's not good for the country. And it can actually cause unrest, like what is happening in Rivers State. People protesting, some people saying that judgment of court must be enforced. All these things are avoidable if lawyers, because I believe every lawyer understands the rules. When there is a judgment or a ruling by a state high court or a federal high court, you go to court of appeal. You don't head to another court of coordinating jurisdiction or concurrent jurisdiction to get a conflicting ruling. It can amount to forum shopping. It's obviously judicial rascality, and it's ridicules the entire judiciary, which is unfair to our democracy.
All right, thank you so much for your expertise on the news. Valerie Onwadike, legal practitioner. Many thanks indeed for your time.
God bless you.
Meanwhile, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has commended Governor Sim Fubara's creativity in solving what could have been a constitutional crisis in the administration of local government in Rivers State. The governor stated this after observing the swearing-in ceremony of 23 local government chairmen elected yesterday. The Bauchi State Governor, who is the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, said though the party did not win, it was important that the Governor Fubara, who is the deputy chairman of the forum, took such bold decision.
That is very, very creative, and I'm very, very proud of him. And I said, yes, we have lost as a party, and that is why we are running from this. Again, he has established himself as a governor and the pride of all the governors of Nigeria. At the subnational level, you cannot just ignore a governor. A governor is the chief executive. He can do anything. He can spring surprises because the Nigerian state is run by governors at the subnational level. Even the federal government is a tenant. Nigerians live in the states and in local governments. And that's why what he did to me is very, very proactive and creative, irrespective of the fact that he knew his party would lose. But certainly, because of his deep democratic instincts, he had to allow the other parties to win. And I would just wish that those who have won will find it in their own way.
Still on election matters, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has won 30 of the 31 local government chairmanship seats in the October 5, 2024 local government election in Akwa Ibom State. The Akwa Ibom State Independent Electoral Commission, AKISIEC, made this known on Sunday. The commission, which released the results of the October 5 local government election, also indicated that the All Progressives Congress APC won one local government area. Following the successful conduct of the election, all is now set for elected chairmen and vice chairmen to be sworn in on Monday, October 7th, 2024 by 8 a.m. at a banquet hall, Government House, Uyo, in the state capital. After the break, Lagos State to intensify crackdown on illegal car parking offenders. We have details shortly. Join us again. Thank you for staying with us. Many rural communities in Nigeria's southeast constantly face environmental issues such as erosion and flooding, which sometimes destroy houses and displace families. In Abia State, residents of Umuakaka community in Kata Ibeku, Umuahia North local government area say the flooding they now suffer is human-induced. News Center's Chinwe Ugele paid a visit to the community and now reports.
The owners of the buildings and inhabitants of this area in Umuakaka and Katibeku community in Umuahia North local government area did not envisage such situation years back when they moved in.
Yes, how we're seeing the thing has been disturbing us every year during rainy season. The flood, the rain, the water will fill this place. As you're seeing it now, even this one you're seeing is just small because the rain that fall this morning is just a small one. When the big rain fall, you see that everywhere. You see this place will be flooding too much.
One of the earliest developers in the area who probably had a premonition about the future single-handedly constructed a culvert some years ago and channeled the flowing water from a river in another community to its endpoint at Ehimiri. But as the years rolled by, they began to witness and experience flooding from a formerly flowing water supposedly occasioned by the disruption of its flow by a structure erected by yet-to-be-identified person. The flooding in Umuakaka, Nkata Ibeku, in Umuahia North Local Government area started from this very area with the construction of the fence behind me by the owner of the property. Today, incidentally, it's just a minor rainfall, but then there's also flooding in the community. Each rainfall becomes a nightmare for the occupants of this community, who seem helpless all the time.
Even in Lotal Araya, home and Millis Weber. I live with Zeba Jerel Manhala to Zebola Tioko, Tupuyabata, no lawyer.
Through self-help, the residents have devised different methods of managing the situation after each rainfall.
I bought a pump for my area to pump out so that we will only be safe inside. But those without pump used to pack out.
Although they claim to have made complaints to the community leadership, no action has been taken in this regard.
Even when we reported to the elders of this community, they don't do anything concerning it.
They are therefore calling on the state government to come to their aid by constructing drainage that will help control flooding in the community.
If they can come and do a drainage at the back of these places, it will help us.
Government generally can control the flood. A drainage ba, okay, nyaka. A metidura nyozeba, which to for the erosion. Okay, nyaka.
If they can open up these routes, they call here Une. This is Une route, river Nibeko, Une route. So if they can come to our aid by opening this route and break that foundation that somebody blocked there and allow the flood to pass through, we won't be suffering all these things.
Commissioner for Environment in the state, Philemon Obuna, has promised to visit the area to ascertain the cause of the flooding and determine how it can be mitigated. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugeli.
Following the confirmation of Justice Kudirat Kekereekon as substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria, some activists in the nation's capital, Abuja, have expressed high expectations from the new Chief Justice. Now, some of them, while speaking to News Central Television, raised concerns about the slow dispensation of justice in the country, which has birthed to the rise in the number of awaiting trial cases. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Bagudu, tells us more.
The Nigerian courts have continued to be a beehive of activities. While much expectations have been placed on judges in the country, there are many who believe that there is so much that needs to be done for the judiciary to earn its trust in the eyes of the public. With a new Chief Justice taking over the saddle of leadership in the country and threatening to cleanse the nation's judiciary, many believe there are several areas that a new helmswoman needs to focus on.
I think one of the things that I'm expecting from Justice Kekereekon is that swift judiciary. We want issues, especially when it comes to gender-based violence. We want swift action. We want, everything should go very, like a fast track. We want a fast track system, whether it's in the High Court, whether it's in the Court of Appeal, whether it is in the Supreme Court. On the issue of nomination and on the issue of appointment of the judiciary, we need to be firm, we need to be principled. So that's another expectation, that it will be according to according to integrity and according to accountability. So we want a judiciary that will be very accountable, not only to the people, but even to itself.
We want a complete departure for frivolous actions that has been carried out by other members of the judiciary. For example, giving conflicting judgments coming from court of coordinate jurisdiction, that should be looked into seriously. A recent example is a state high court in Rivers gave an order that RISEC, that is Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, should go ahead and conduct election in Rivers. But as we speak, a federal high court in Abuja gave a conflicting order that election should be put on hold. Which are we to obey?
That will be very accountable.
Moju Rayo is a human rights activist. She believes the track record of female judges are quite impressive and a better feat can be recorded by the new CJN.
But one thing that we've already noticed, that when women are in power, when women have the opportunity to do administrative work, they do it very, very well, because it's something we do normally in the house and we are used to being administrators. So I am very hopeful, I'm very expectant. I'm expectant because I know that what it means for women is that more women can aspire to that position, more women can look at this as an inspiration that, even encourage other younger women, especially most young women that are going into law schools today. Most of them, oh no, I don't want to be a litigation lawyer. I don't want to do litigation. I want to be just a legal counsel in one company and all that. But when they see that there is a space that allows women to rise, not only should they rise, but they are sitting in number one seat of the judiciary in the country. I think that is a motivation enough for them to think about, okay, maybe litigation is not bad. For someone like me, I love litigation very well. And when I hear younger ones saying that, oh, they don't love litigation, I try to encourage them. And I think one of the talking points, really, is to be telling them, can't you see Justice Kekereekun? Can you see what she has been able to impact the judiciary to the extent that now she's sitting at this particular position, which means that this gives her the opportunity to make policies. You can make judicial policies and direct the state of the judiciary in Nigeria for the better.
Justice Kukere Okun was confirmed by the Senate and assumed office as the 23rd substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria and the second female to occupy the office in Nigeria's history. In Abuja, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
After 10 years of displacement, 10 communities in the Konduga local government area have officially been resettled by the Borno state government. Now, this initiative represents a major effort to restore communities affected by conflicts and promote socio-economic recovery. News Central's Umaru Kirawa throws more light.
A new dawn for these families after 10 years of pain and resilience at the displaced camps. A widow with 7 children, Fatih Lawan, smiled as she narrates her story of starting life afresh in a newly built home.
Residents
received essential supplies and support from the government to facilitate their transition back to their homes.
Alhamdulillah, alira kumbu isi china fata china shiro askrinyana lei alira bare kazana apima kuriena rinyana bare le bare ishe
samma sarna sanda sarma du fiu sarma tammaso ala andira askarzu baba.
The resettlement initiative aims to restore hope and provide a new beginning for families who have faced years of uncertainty.
Kadda siri konde ga sauro kura na ngal tema chizanye mbei na do chizala makamaro kampu da wona mbei amanya ne ma ala sidiya na gare dai kollum ba sai am kondo ay duk karta zar walta ya kollumin insha Allah aro tamade mbei.
Senator Kakamali Miale, among other stakeholders of Konduga, appreciated the inauguration of the 500 housing estate, describing it as a step toward long-term peace and development in the region.
Borno State government, in collaboration with the local government council, Konduga local government council, will start the construction of Aulari village. Government has already paid 100 million naira for the procurement of blocks for the construction of Aulari community. And I have also directed the Commissioner for Local Government Council to direct the Chairman of Local Government Council to procure additional blocks for the construction of Aulari. Because I don't think there's anything better than the resettlement of the communities for now. I want to assure you that no stone shall be left unturned in order to ensure the resettlement of these communities.
The governor highlighted government's plans to resettle more communities and implement programs that will help provide vocational training for residents.
I was told for many times that some of the Boko Haram members, they used to come and spend a night inside the IDP camp, and then as early as possible, they will move out to their hills. This is not acceptable.
The College of Business and Management Studies, Konduga, is one of the projects the governor has directed the Ministry of Education to determine the extent of its damage and plans for its resettlement. In Konduga for News Central, Umuri Kirawa.
The Lagos state government has intensified its crackdown on illegal parking as part of ongoing efforts to reduce traffic congestion and improve the flow of vehicles on the city's roads. Earlier this year, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu approved the introduction of regulated on-street parking, which was announced during a stakeholders forum held on February 14, 2024. Our correspondent, Bettina Nweli, throws more light.
The streets of Lagos are notorious for heavy traffic, and much of the congestion is caused by illegally parked vehicles clogging major roads. In response, the Lagos state government, working with relevant authorities, has increased enforcement actions across the city, towing vehicles and issuing fines to offenders.
LASPA was created to find lasting solutions to the issues of indiscriminate and illegal parking across the state. This will aid prompt reduction of traffic regular experienced by everyone.
Like many other major cities worldwide facing similar challenges, Lagos is experiencing a high demand for parking spaces that exceeds the available supply. This therefore emphasizes the need to adopt a regulated on-street parking model to better manage parking resources efficiently.
Government will spend an average of about 200 to almost 1 billion naira fixing some roads. And all from the left to the right, cars are parked there by residents because there's no parking in their compounds. I think that's not just unfair to the government, it's also unfair to the residents of the state, because people are making money at the detriment of the livelihoods of other people. Because if I'm going to go out, then that means I'm stuck in traffic. I have to wait somebody up to get out to move my vehicle. That's the first thing.
Officials say this new wave of enforcement is part of a broader strategy to curb indiscriminate parking, especially in high-traffic areas like Lagos Island, Victoria Island, and Ikeja. Vehicles parked along major roads, blocking entrances and obstructing pedestrians are being targeted in this renewed crackdown, as just recently on Friday, 28 vehicles obstructing the free flow of traffic along GRA Ikeja were confiscated. "28 number plates of vehicles caught violating the Lagos State traffic regulations at the location were all removed, and the owners of the offending vehicles will be charged in court. The Lagos State government says that the crackdown is not just about punishment, but about ensuring that everyone in the city can move freely and safely. All legitimate drivers are urged to make use of designated parking areas and avoid parking on sidewalks or major roads. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Nweli.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested a 41-year-old Canadian lady, Andrin Munju, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. She was nabbed for importing large consignment of Canadian loud, a strong strain of synthetic cannabis. NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi announced the arrest in a statement on Sunday, saying the suspect was apprehended during the inward clearance of passengers on KLM airline flight from Canada to the Terminal 1 of the Lagos airport. According to Babafemi, during a joint examination of her 3 bags, Andrin, who was coming to Nigeria for the first time, was found with 74 parcels of the illicit substance weighing 35.20 kilograms stuffed in 2 of our 3 barks. Thank you for staying with us. The news continues in North Africa, where Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune has ruled out the idea of a visit to France. During a television interview, he said he considered the idea humiliating in the context of renewed tensions in relations between his country and France. The visit of the Algerian president, which has been constantly postponed since May 2023, was most recently planned between the end of September and the beginning of October 2024. But relations between Algiers and Paris became frosty again after the announcement at the end of July of Paris' support for the Moroccan autonomy planned for the disputed territory of Western Sahara.
Je n'irai pas à Canossa. L'Algérie a été choisie pour le grand remplacement, le vrai grand remplacement. Chasser la population locale pour amener une population européenne. Combattre l'islam pour christianiser l'Algérie et en faire une terre européenne. Avec des massacres. Avec une armée de Charles X génocidaire. دخلت الجزائر كنا حوالي 4 ملايين. بعد قرن ونص بالتقريب، قرن و32 سنة خرجت كنا مام با 9 ملايين. هي جينوسيد. وعندك محاضر، احنا وندوموند لا فيريتي هيستوريك. هذا اتفاق 1968 فزاعة يخوفونا به. اتفاق جاء لتقليص من صلاحيات اتفاقيات إيفيان. اتفاقيات إيفيان كانت تقضي على أساس الجزائريين والفرنسيين يعني une libre circulation. C'est un slogan politique qui est fait pour réunir les extrêmes. C'est l'étendard derrière lequel marche l'armée des extrémistes. La revanche.
Tunisian presidential candidate Zoher Maghzoui has voted La Massa in the northern suburb of Tunis. The candidate, a former left-wing pan-Arab MP, has a real electoral base but remains associated with the president's 2021 power grab, which he supported. Tunisians voted on Sunday in a presidential election largely expected to see incumbent Kais Saied secure another 5 years in office, while his main critics, including one contender, are behind bars. The EC Electoral Board has said about 9.7 million people were expected to turn out. About 47% of them are aged between 36 and 60 years.
أنا نقول أولاً الفرح مع شهداء تونس اللي بفضل شهداء تونس احنا اليوم موجودين في صندوق الاقتراع. ثانياً أنا نقول للتوانسة اليوم رابحين لأنه صارت الانتخابات. والتوانسة باش يكونوا رابحين 6 بتاع العشية. والتوانسة باش يكونوا رابحين أكثر لو يقبلوا أكثر على صندوق الاقتراع. نحب نحيي ونشكر التوانسة اللي مشاو ونحب أدعو التونسيين اللي ما مشاو صندوق الاقتراع اللي يمشيوا بكثافة لأن بحول الله تونس رابحة.
Thousands of Moroccans took part in a pro-Palestine march in Rabat city center. The protesters called for a ceasefire in Gaza on the eve of the first anniversary of the Hamas October 7th attacks on Israel and the ensuing war in Gaza. Sunday's event followed massive rallies that took place on Saturday in the several European cities, including London, Berlin, Paris, and Rome. Other events are scheduled through the week, an expected peak on Monday, the dates of the anniversary.
خرجوا اللي تيحيوا الذكرى ديال 7 اكتوبر ولكن هذه الذكرى تتصادف واحد التصعيد في المنطقه اللي ما يمكنش المغاربه ما يكونوش مع الموعد مع هذه اللحظات التاريخيه عبر المسانده ديالهم المطلقه.
اليوم هذه المسيره الوطنيه هي مسيره للتذكير يعني العدوان الاسرائيلي والهمجي يعني الصهيوني على الشعب الفلسطيني واللبناني وأن هذه الحرب يمكن.
In Southern Africa, Mozambique presidential candidate Osofo Momad from the Renamo Party has held his final rally ahead of the 9th of October elections in Maputo. Joined by his supporters, Momad was seen dancing with a broom. The ruling party, Frelimo, which has increasingly become marked with growing concerns of authoritarianism and impunity amid a controversy surrounding the 2023 local elections and the 2019 general election, is predicted to win.
Não podemos enganar o mundo. A Frelimo nunca ganhou. Desde 1974 tivemos eleições fraudulentas. E nós, neste momento, queremos deixar um apelo para que possamos ter eleições justas, transparentes. Porque só assim é quando não vamos ter conflitos. E caso vir a acontecer isso, o povo moçambicano, a juventude, vai levantar-se contra este regime. Pode não ser através das armas, mas através de uma manifestação que vai prejudicar o país. Podemos não é um novo partido, já existe desde 1974. Aliás, foi em que ano que o filho de Samora criou aquele partido? 2018. Desde o início nós anunciamos que as vassouras servem para varrer a corrupção, a falta de cadeira nas escolas, a falta de água, a falta de estradas, isto é, as vias.
South African officials on Sunday confirmed the arrest of 3 people in connection with the killing of 18 relatives, mostly women, gunned down at a rural homestead a week ago. Police Minister Senzo Mchunu announced this at a memorial near the site of the killing. A 4th suspect has been sought for the massacre in the early hours of September 28 in the Eastern Cape Province. Gunmen opened fire inside 2 homes in Lusikisiki, about 200 kilometers southwest of the coastal city of Durban, killing 17 people. An 18th person died later in hospital. The victims were aged from 14 to 64 years old. Several were shot in the head. The motive for the attack is not known. In the east of Africa, Rwanda's health minister says the country would begin vaccinations against deadly Ebola-like Marburg virus on Sunday after receiving some 700 doses of a trial vaccine. The death toll since the outbreak was announced in Rwanda on September 28 has risen to 12, most of them are health workers. With a fatality rate of up to 88%, the highly infectious hemorrhagic fever is often accompanied by bleeding and organ failure. While speaking to reporters, the health minister, Nsanzimana Sabin, said the vaccines have been tested by the health officials in Rwanda and the Standards Bureau. Sue Gray, Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, has resigned. According to a statement from Downing Street on Sunday, Gray is expected to take on a new role as the Prime Minister's envoy for nations and regions. Media reports that Gray had been embroiled in dispute over her salary, following revelation by the BBC's political editor that she earned more than Sir Keir. Labour has confirmed that Gray will be replaced by Morgan McSweeney, who previously served as chief advisor to the Prime Minister. A motion calling for a ceasefire in Gaza in Britain's House of Commons descends into chaos, considerably weakening the position of Speaker Lindsay Hoyle. Hoyle has come under fierce criticism after allowing the opposition Labour Party to propose an amendment to a motion put out by the Scottish Independence Party, SNP, during a sitting that was meant to be devoted to the SNP. Stephen Flynn, the SNP's leader in the House, says the unusual move, contrary to the usual parliamentary practices, showed complete and utter contempt for the party, adding that he would take significant convincing that Hoyle's position is not now intolerable.
I thought I was doing the right thing and the best thing, and I regret it, and I apologise for how it's ended up. I do take responsibility for my actions, and that's why I want to meet. And that's why.
Super Eagles forward Ahmed Musa scores brace on Nigeria Premier Football League return, inspires Kano Pillars to a 2-0 win against Sunshine Stars. Favor Itwa has more.
And in sport, Kenyan athletes excelled at the Cardiff Half Marathon on Sunday, with Patrick Musin and Miriam Chibet taking top honours. Chibet dominated the women's race, finishing in 1 hour 6 minutes and 42 seconds, a personal best that surpassed a previous time of 1 hour 7 minutes and 14 seconds. She was followed closely by compatriot Grace Uwowuna, 1 hour 7 minutes and 15 seconds, and Caroline Nyaga, 1 hour 7 minutes and 16 seconds in second and third place respectively. In the men's category, Mosin won with a time of 1 hour and 1 second, just 31 seconds shy of Leonard Langat's 2019 record of 59 minutes and 30 seconds. Over 29,000 runners participated, marking this year as the event's largest turnout. Chibet's victory serves as a confidence boost ahead of her upcoming races. And now to the world of football, Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa marked his return to the Nigeria Premier Football League in style, scoring both goals as Kano Pillars secured a 2-0 victory over Sunshine Stars in Katsina. This was Musa's third stint with the club, having rejoined earlier this week after several months without the club following a spell in Turkey. The former Leicester forward displayed his class, weaving past 3 defenders to call in a brilliant opener that gave Pillars the lead. In the 51st minute, Ahmed Musa doubled his tally with another fine finish to make it 2. He later missed a penalty in the 70th minute in what would have been his hat-trick. In other match centres, Enugu Rangers prevailed over Abia Warriors 1-0 in the Oriental Derby. Imale Namoneke's Heartland picked first win of the season after defeating Niger Tornadoes at home. Remo Stars' 4-match winning streak came to an end with Shola Abdurrahim 56-minute strike, which gave Kwara United a win in Ilorin. Still talking football, Malawian referee Godfrey Philip Nakananga will officiate the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying match between Nigeria Super Eagles and Libya's Mediterranean Knights this Friday at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Assisting Nakananga will be fellow Malawians Clemens Kanduku and Joseph Nyatui, serving as assistant referee 1 and 2 respectively. Botswana Kibesewe Dintwa has been appointed as the 4th official, and while Ghana's Munkaila Nassam Adam will act as the commissioner, while Niger's Isaka Bubaka and Mayowa Akingbe Misilu will take on the roles as referee assessor and broadcast venue manager respectively. The match is set to kick off at 5 p.m. local time. And to wrap up sports update, Nigeria's under-20 boys, the Flying Eagles, will relocate to Ikenne, Ogun State for a final training camp ahead of the WAFU-B Under-20 Championship in Togo. The team, which reached the quarterfinals of the 2023 FIFA World Cup, will train for a week at the Remo Sports Institute before heading to Lomé. In Group B, they will face Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire as they aim to defend the title they won in Niger 2 years ago. The championship runs from October 17 to 31st, with host Togo competing against Ghana, Benin Republic and Niger in Group A. This tournament will determine the 4 teams that will qualify for next year's Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations and the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile. And that wraps it up on Sports Update, and Favor Itwa.
And that's all on the news at this hour. Before we go, let's take a look again at some of the major stories. Barely 24 hours after the conclusion of Rivers State Local Council election, Governor Fubara has sworn in newly elected chairmen. Algerian President Abdelmajid Tebboune has ruled out visits to France in renewed tension. We also told you that Rwanda is set to begin vaccinations against deadly Ebola-like Marburg virus. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Adebola Adedugba.